God of War, Sons of Sparta all started out with a cold email of all things. God of War has been on our wish list as a studio for years.
When we first started MegaCat, we were making cartridge-based games for fun. We certainly didn't have an office. We were making them in my kitchen. My wife was very patient for many years. A lot of damaged kitchen tables from soldering iron mistakes.
Years ago when I met James, we started a wish list process for MegaCat Studios. At the very top of my list was God of War.
Since the origin of MegaCat, we've had God of War #1 on our wish list. And year after year, as MegaCat grew, and we decided to start taking some swings and shooting some messages out.
We actually came to this point that reminds me of something I saw in Raising Kratos, where the studio had a project they were working on that wasn't able to come to light. We had a very similar situation here, actually. It wasn't nearly as grandiose, but for us, it was a big deal that we were going to have a project we were working on that wasn't going to see the light of day. And I hit up James, and I go, hey man, it's time. I want to take a big swing. And he goes, take a big swing. And I emailed Santa Monica the next day.
We knew the pitch was a moonshot, but as a retro studio, we have a passion for certain genres. And we thought about what would God of War be like if it came out on the PS1? What would a God of War 0 be? And that's kind of how it all started.
There was something in their pitch that really spoke to me. It was this love and passion for God of War at the core of who they are, to the art style that they're bringing to the table, or an idea to put God of War in this high-bit pixel art, modern retro feel. It really was a unique spin on it, and I brought that back to the team here at SMS, and everybody fell in love with it, and we immediately set up a call with MegaCat.
When I heard back from Santa Monica Studio, the reaction was wow. It was actually wow, wow, wow. I kind of couldn't believe it. I might have sat on it for a few minutes before I reached out to the rest of the studio heads here, and it's been a life-changing experience ever since.
God of War, Sons of Sparta gives us a unique opportunity to expand the story in the world of God of War while staying true to the core. We are going to tell a new part in a new area while still paying respect to and integrating in a lot of ways what those original stories were.
This is a genre I've been in love with even before we started God of War, Sons of Sparta. It's something that took up a large amount of my time as a player. So to do something in the space that we're in and to genuinely be able to stand apart is something that I'm deeply excited about. There's just no containing how happy I am to be working in the genre I love.
One of the unique elements of God of War, Sons of Sparta is seeing Kratos' brother Deimos and their relationship. They go through this sort of coming-of-age story where they learn about themselves and learn about what it means to be Spartans and brothers, and that in itself will have ramifications later on for Kratos and throughout his entire journey.
Dismissed for Sparta.
God of War, Sons of Sparta is going to be really cool because it's a crossroads for players that maybe aren't familiar with the franchise, or players that are familiar with the franchise but aren't familiar with the genre we're working in. So it's going to be this place where two player bases are going to be crossing.
Something that we've been keeping at the center of our work is trying to meet the God of War fans' expectations on all of the facets of the game, whether that's the quests, the combat, the items that you're getting, and the character progression.
One example of what MegaCat was able to do, so they literally took our 3D animation files for a lot of our enemies that you'll see in this game, and they brought it into their system, which translates it into 2D animation. And then they would go in and do literal frame-by-frame, hand-drawn pixel art over top of that. The end result is, if you see the Minotaur in game, for instance, and it's swinging its axe at you as a player, you might recognize what that swing looks like.
A lot of the things that make God of War translate pretty cleanly from 3D to 2D. And a lot of this stuff is just based upon Santa Monica Studios' philosophy and principles in game design. Rather than just going down a checklist of all the features the games needed to have, understanding what makes these features done the God of War way.
Collaborating in this way was important to reassure fans that this is still a God of War game. This is a different kind of God of War game, different art, but all the elements you want and expect are there.
Sons of Sparta is quite a different project. It's unique in a sense of its scope, and at the same time, the amount of things that are in-game compared to our prior projects. It really encouraged us to approach it in a much more creative way.
God of War is actually known for conveying emotion. So while it's actually also known for brutality, God of War hones in, it dials in the lighting and post-processing best practices to communicate mood and emotion. We want to bring that same exact impact into Sons of Sparta.
I'm really proud of how the game turned out looking, because it took so much from all the different departments to get it to where it is, where we have the technical artists writing the shader code, we have the environment artists drawing the sprites, the concept artists, and it feels like a really rich, lush world.
As a fan of the series, growing up with it, this was an amazing opportunity that I got to collaborate with the team and help bring this to life. You know, we're trying to meet the spectacle that people expect when it comes to God of War games, while also merging in our Megacat twist and retro ethos into the battles as well.
I'm excited for the fans to see this new lens. They're getting two new experiences. They're getting this new level of information, and they're also getting to just address it in a different way, approach it in a different way.
One of the things that I'm most excited about for Sons of Sparta is that there will be players that have actually never played a God of War title. They're going to find that as their entry point to the franchise.
With God of War Sons of Sparta, I think fans will really enjoy this incredible narrative that the team has put together. Add into that a world and a space that we haven't seen before, and this brand new high-bit pixel art style game that Megacat Studios has made, and it really just grabs you from the moment you've seen it.
Seeing the team at Megacat evolve and grow during the making of God of War Sons of Sparta just fills me with pride. You know, we've always been a team, but through making this game, we've really become a phalanx where we have each other's backs, and we know if one side falls, we all fall. So there's sort of this rallying cry to get everything to victory.